It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for keeping it locked on your feel-good breakfast show. We've been loving our Wednesday morning so far, and we have been talking a lot about Woolies' cold chain. So let's delve a little deeper. In fact, this cold chain ensures that the temperature of products remains uninterrupted from the point of production to the sales floor. No mean feat. By maintaining this process, Woolworths, of course, bring you, the customer, us, the customer, the freshest products at the best quality, optimal. And here to tell us more about this process and how we can increase the longevity of our fresh products at home is Senior Product Developer Merle Harrison. Merle, you're not dressed warmly enough for this discussion, okay? Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
And for giving us almost an unrestricted access to the cold chain. I didn't get how important this actually is. We get to enjoy, obviously, excuse the pun, the fruits of your labors with this unbelievable level of quality of fruit. But of course, so much has to happen to get it to that point. Why is this process a cornerstone for you? Why has this become such an important tool?
You're absolutely right, Graham. It's massively important to us because there's such a direct link between the cold chain and the end quality for our customers.
Exactly.
Many people, they love Woolies fruit because of the flavor, because of the freshness, because of the quality. And that is something that we regard quite seriously to maintain that degree of consistency.
That's a point of difference. Yeah.
Absolutely, it's critical. And we know that people work hard for their money. So when they choose to spend their money on Woolies quality, it's a massive responsibility for us, and maintaining that cold chain is critical in delivering the difference, as you so correctly pointed out.
Because unfortunately, when you're pitching something at this level, one mistake, just one thing not going right can have dire circumstances.
Absolutely.
So I get why that's so important. What actually happens when you can't maintain a cold chain? So what are the negative repercussions if you don't get it right?
That's a good question. You know, when you first bite into a really large crisp grape and it just bursts into that immense
Feels like a
sweetness.
mini apple.
Absolutely, it fills the mouth with that gorgeous sweetness. Well, that's the reason we don't want to break the cold chain. We want every experience that you have with Woolies fruit to be an amazing one. And really, it needs to be as good as the day that it was harvested. And as we learned early in the week, it does deteriorate once it is harvested, the fruit, naturally.
Naturally, yeah,
yes,
of course.
naturally. But the care that we take to try and maintain that cold chain helps to keep the product suspended in its optimum state so that you can enjoy it for longer. And when I say suspended in its optimum state, I'm talking about throughout the distribution chain. So really, from the point of production to the distribution centres and to the end consumer in our stores, it needs to be regulated at a constant temperature.
And that speaks to, I know it's multidimensional, but that speaks to an investment in this cold chain, which means an investment in the capabilities of your farmers,
Absolutely.
of every step along that value chain.
Definitely.
You need to potentialise that. So congratulations and well done. Thank you for investing, because that's a whole South African market in itself. I get that. Now the fruit comes to us. It's in our house. It's our responsibility. How do we get the most? How do we increase that longevity once we've got this gorgeous fruit?
Yeah, minimising food waste is something that we feel really passionate about at Woolworths. We really want you to enjoy every last bit of the fruit that you do buy. So there are a couple of pointers that you might want to think about. The first one, when you're planning your shopping trip, I'm not sure how good you are at packing in your shopping bags, but maybe you want to go a step further, and if you know that you're not going to be home very soon, add a cooler bag to your boot, maybe add a couple of ice bricks that will help keep the fruit cooler until you can get it into your fridge at home. And then once you are at home and you're unpacking your groceries, you might be tempted to create a beautiful display with the grapes on your countertop, but that's not necessarily the best thing for the grapes. It's always clever to remember that if you purchase it at the store in the fridge, then store it in the fridge at home to get the best out.
That's your guide.
That's absolutely your guide. And then also when it comes to your fridge, it's a good idea to check on the temperature of your fridge now and then.
Especially with load shedding.
Exactly. Usually 5 degrees Celsius is a good temperature to aim for. And then finally, the sell-by date on our packaging gives you a good guide up until when you can enjoy the fruit at its very best.
And I find generally the sell-bys are a little bit conservative. You can squeeze out a few more, but I'm not going to put that in writing right now.
Our work here is done.
Exactly. It begs the question, what other kind of products form a part of this cold chain magical equation? What else do we get to benefit from the cold chain effect?
No, cold chain is embedded in our entire food market, where you would find the products in your fridge or in the freezer section at Woolies. So everything from your yummy chocolate mousses to your tin roof ice creams to your fresh protein, your cheeses, yogurts, everything that you would find in the fridge and the freezer would adhere to the same strict cold chain principles so they can get the best quality.
If it's fresh,
yes,
it's been through the cold chain, okay? Not as fresh as us. We haven't been through the cold chain just yet. No, I actually haven't gone through a part of the cold chain. I know how cold it is, so I empathize with Chef Clem. I love the fact that when you talk about your uses of energy, even the fridges in stores now are conserving energy. Everything you do seems to have a sustainability footprint, which is amazing. So, Merle, we love you, man. Thank you so much. Go put a jacket on. As winter kicks in, you want to make sure that you stay as fresh as your fresh produce, but it is magical to me to know how many different elements have to come together so that we can bite into one of these gigantic, juicy, apple-like grapes. And once you do get to taste that quality, you will never, ever go anywhere else.